Welcome to Next Chapter Strong. From deadlifts to date nights and everything in between.
We're just a midlife couple sharing what's working for us.
In strength, marriage, and showing up for this exciting next chapter in life.
Hello, and welcome to Next Chapter Strong, from deadlifts to date nights. Hopefully you caught last week's episode where my wonderful hubby Garrett and I talked about dropping our youngest son off at college, and we officially became empty nesters. But today we're going to talk about a topic. It's a question that both of us are asked a lot. Why did you leave California, right? 3 years ago, we packed up our two boys, our two dogs, our cat. We loaded everything we had into two moving trucks, and we drove 16 hours from California to Arizona. And we're asked all the time why. And my answer is usually, well, because we could, right? But there are a lot of reasons. And so we're going to kind of dive into that today. And I told Garrett, please don't offend anybody, because we do have a lot of friends and family in California still, right? It's where both of us were born and raised. And there's still a lot of wonderful things about California. But for us, there was some things that just needed a change, right? We needed a change. And it was something that we didn't, it wasn't a rash decision. It was a decision that we talked about for a long time. And we honestly probably wish we had done sooner. I think so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what do you have to say, Garrett, without offending anybody out there?
Listen, it's impossible not to offend people. We have a lot of obviously family and dear friends, lifelong friends that live in California. People that I would never want to cut from our lives. No. You know, I want those people there forever. I love those folks. And honestly, most of the people in California are great people. I've been all over the state. You and I are both born and raised there.
It's a beautiful state. 40
plus years of our lives in there. The state itself is beautiful. I don't think you'll find a more beautiful state from a weather, from a topography perspective. You know, everything from Lake Tahoe to San Diego, everything in between. It's a beautiful state. And I love the folks that are there. The reasons that we left are our reasons, right? They're not anybody else's reasons, but there are reasons. And it wasn't just one single event. Yes, we happened to leave during COVID. Yes, that played a part in it, but that was not the thing, right? This was something that we had talked about for years leading up to this. California's an expensive place to live. That, of course, right? Dumb statement of the year. But it really is. And it's not just expensive from a housing perspective. It's expensive from an energy perspective, right? Heating and cooling your home, water, gas, right? Fuel. Everything in California is just more expensive, maybe with the exception of Hawaii, but that's because they got to ship it halfway across the Pacific. So we knew that we were not going to retire in California. And we've known that for a little while. And we had always talked about moving out of state. We weren't quite sure where, but we have some other really good friends that moved to Arizona about 4 or 5 years before we did. So we had gotten to come down and visit them quite a bit and get to know the area. And I mean, we both really like the desert. My grandparents were in La Quinta, right outside of Palm Springs. So I've been going down there ever since as long as I can remember. And we go play outside in the summer in La Quinta when it's 120. Yeah. My cousins and I go dig holes in the sand.
But at what point did we say, okay, we're doing this?
Yeah, well, that was, if you remember, it was actually coming back to see Chris and Tara one time, and we're like, we should move down there. That's a good place to be. It's a good place to raise kids.
I remember just feeling different.
Yeah, it was. I would say happier. I don't know, more. It seemed more open. I don't know. People smiled at you, right?
Both boys commented on the freeways. Oh my gosh, the freeways, they're so clean here.
Yeah, it's
simple things.
It's a beautiful state, and it's not all desert, by the way. It's the whole northern region is mountainous.
Queen Creek actually reminds me exactly of the town that we're from, Brentwood.
Yes, very, very similar.
Farm town.
Small town feel. It's a town that has grown up. It's actually growing really fast. Mm-hmm. But so when you get to that, what was the one decision? I don't think there was one thing. It was a series of events that happened in our lives and a series of realizations with, I think, kind of COVID being the kicker on top of
Because
that.
we never would have done it with our boys in high school. Like,
No.
who moves with their kids in high school?
No,
right?
and we were
That's
content
crazy.
to wait that out.
For
right?
sure.
Wait
But
till Nick
COVID was definitely
graduates.
the push.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The way that the state of California handled that, and actually, which contrasts starkly with the way Arizona handled it, and especially the Queen Creek School District.
Right.
They were the first school to go back.
Yeah.
In the nation.
Yeah.
So
In the nation?
in the entire country, the Queen Creek School District was the first one to go back.
Wow.
I believe I'm quoting that accurately.
Okay. Fact check that.
Yeah, you can fact check that if you want to, but
Yeah.
they were very early to go back.
Okay.
And, you know, seeing what our boys had to go through, and Nick losing his entire 8th grade year, Ryan losing most of his sophomore year, right? The way that debacle was handled, and the way that the school district addressed that situation was, I mean, in my mind, it's criminal. I won't go into any more than that, but that was definitely kind of the cherry on top that said it's time for us to go.
Yeah.
And it was hard. I mean, it was really hard. Like I said, lifelong friends there that we love dearly, and that we respect. I don't blame anybody for where they live, right? You live.
Not everybody. We
you live where you
happen to
can
have
live.
jobs where we could do them anywhere, and not everybody
Yes.
has that. and I
Exactly.
understand
We
that.
had the flexibility
Yeah.
of being able to do that. I
Yeah.
work remotely. You own your own business, so that made it much easier. A lot of people don't have that flexibility.
Yeah.
They have to stay there.
I mean, the fact that my parents moved into a retirement community like 2 miles away from us,
Yeah.
and then a year later we up and moved. That was tough. But
That was very tough.
honestly, I think we see my parents more now. It's more quality time anyway. Right. We have a little casita for them to stay in. And I go back to California to work all the time.
Yes.
So I'm always there. Social media for me is a big part of me staying connected with my friends and my family. And so I'm really grateful for that. FaceTime. And I kind of think it's a different world today, where I know, like, my mom growing up in a close-knit Italian family, like my Nanu cried when my mom and dad moved 30 minutes away. Like, he cried. And it was like, it was unheard of. You don't leave your family, right?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, for good or bad, that has just changed, right? And I feel like we have a better connection almost with our family, because it's more quality time, right? And would I have done it when the kids were really little? No. Like your mom, my mom, you know, our dads were super involved in their
Yes.
grandkids' lives, and that was huge.
Yes, it was.
But our kids were grown. They were in high school, right? Like we didn't necessarily need that help, and they grew up with their cousins, and you know, and that was awesome. But life changed. We shifted, and I don't feel like it was that hard really because of technology, because we can still kind of stay connected.
Not as hard for you and I. Definitely hard on our families.
Yes.
Not hard on Rye, because Rye was kind of the one that said, "Hey, mom, dad, I'm ready to go."
Yeah.
Really? It's the end of your junior year in high school. You know, are you sure you
He
want to
was
go?
willing to go to somewhere he didn't know one
Yes.
person to do his senior year of high school.
Yes, willingly.
Willingly.
Like he was chomping at the bit.
That's crazy.
I know. And it was the hardest on Nick by far.
Yeah.
And I remember the night when we had finished finally packing everything up, everybody had left the house, and you and Nick were out in the back porch, and he was beside himself. It just hit him all of a sudden. I am everything I've ever known in my life. You know, next door neighbors, best friends, right? Cole, they've known each other since
Hazelwood
they're
hooligans,
three,
yeah,
right?
growing up in a court.
Austin,
yeah.
all these friends that he had,
Yeah.
and lifelong friends. He's leaving that,
Yeah.
and that was really
Brutal.
hard for him. And that was hard for him, I would say, for a good year to a year and a half after we moved. You know, when we were here in Arizona,
100%,
he
yeah.
was still really connected with those guys, and he still is. It's not that he has disconnected. He still has those friends. It's just Nick is a much more introverted person, right? And it's a little bit more of a challenge for him to go out and make friends. He's like me. Like I'm introverted. I generally don't at a party go up and talk to people.
Yeah.
Whereas everybody in the room within a half an hour, as well as their parents and their grandparents, the whole family history, right?
Yeah.
I'm not like that either. So I know that was a tremendous challenge he went through. but he got through it.
Right. Well, that's what killed me too, knowing that, the boys had different lunches. And so Nick, when I found out he was eating lunch alone, absolutely killed me. Like Ryan had friends really quickly.
Yep.
And it took a while for Nick, but it was, and this is the importance of your kids being in sports to me. The most important part is that brotherhood and that friendship.
It's okay.
Because when he came back from football camp, it all changed. He had brothers. He had friends and, lifelong friends. And so that was huge. And that kind of made everything, I was able to breathe, right? And I'm like, it's going to be okay. And now looking back, it was freaking hard, but it was so worth it.
Well, and he even told you when we were driving back from, I think it was from San Diego one time, right? Where he's like, I get it now.
Yeah.
Right. He's like, Mom, I understand why we did this.
Yeah, he gets it.
And that took him a while, and understandably so.
For sure.
I mean, if my parents would have done that,
oh, God.
I would have been beside myself.
I would have died.
Right? Like,
I would have died, yeah.
That is high school is such a time of growth, and it's such an emotional time for everybody. Yeah. And the memories and the experiences that you have and that you develop during that time, it's a completely unique time in life, and we disrupted that.
Yeah.
Right. We pulled that apart, but knowing that, you and I had this vision of what their lives could be by doing this. And they have both now seen that.
Yeah.
I mean, Rye is married.
Yeah.
Rye met the love of his life here in Arizona.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we don't do that, he doesn't meet Brooke.
Right.
Right? That doesn't happen.
Right.
Nick got the opportunity to continue his football career. Right? Maybe that happens in Brentwood. I don't know. But he made some really, really great friends here. And he got exposed to some other great athletes, that were
an adorable girlfriend.
Absolutely. Amazing girlfriend for him, right? A perfect fit for him. So it's always a risk. And people always ask, how did you do it? It's like, we just decided to do it. I mean, I don't really know that it wasn't like we sat down and debated over and over. Yeah, we came down here a bunch. We visited the area. I mean, I came down here with you 6 times. You came down 8 times over the course of about a year and a half.
Yeah.
We went to every part of the Phoenix area. West Valley,
Scottsdale,
north, south, east, all over the place. So it wasn't like it was a rash decision. We really scoped it out, and we thankfully had the ability and the time to do that. And I think that's a hugely important part, right? I don't think you should make this decision lightly, but also don't sit there and have analysis paralysis, right? Where you never make the decision. Is it going to be hard? Yes. Is it going to be scary? Yes. Is there going to be an impact to you relationship-wise? Yes. Financially? Yes. In good and bad ways, right? It costs a lot of money to pack up your entire family and move it to another state.
But I'll tell you, the first year we did taxes, we were like,
that was nice.
Yeah.
That was nice. A flat 2% state tax is a nice thing.
But also meeting, like the Miles family, we met right off the bat, who they relocated from California as well. So we had that kind of camaraderie and support system right off the bat. And again, the important part of sports, right, is connecting all of our great friends right now, aside from our neighbors who are incredible, are our football families.
Yep. It's that built-in social network, right? And it's from day one, we were plugged in.
Yeah.
There was never a time when we were like, we're sitting at home alone. No, we had football players there the day we moved in to help us unload the trucks.
Oh my God, that was amazing.
I mean, thank God for.
Shout out to Carol Ann.
Seriously, Carol Ann and Shane and everybody that came to help us out.
Yeah,
it was
without even knowing us. They
without
show
even
up.
knowing us.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Silver's
that
there.
Right there, I was like, okay, this is where we're supposed to be.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal.
And then Coach Larry was a huge part of making.
Takes the boys under his wing.
Yeah.
Quentin was the first kid that Nick met.
Quentin and JJ. Yeah.
They take him on a tour of the school. JJ was phenomenal. Helping Rye out, and then you and I. Okay, now we're meeting all these parents too, and we're we got some fundraising we got to do. Great, we got camp we're going to. Hey, our first game is away in San Diego. Boom. We're all doing this. It's like wham, we're part of this right away. So sports play an integral role, not just for the kids, but for the parents as well.
And I think you and I intentionally, didn't we talk about that? Like, do we wait for the kids to graduate high school, or do we do it now, right? So that we could, right, us too, selfishly, meet people. And too, I remember talking about, like, when our kids go off to college, I wanted them to come back to home.
Yes.
Not come back to a place they didn't know. Like, like if we had stayed in Brentwood, they graduated, went off to college, military, whatever. Like I wanted them to come home, and our house is home to
Yes.
them, right? Yeah.
100%. It makes it, that's the foundation. That's the anchor point,
Yeah.
right? And they have that, and it's been established,
Yeah.
which I think is hugely important.
But how about, let's talk about one of the questions I get all the time. I don't know if you do, is do you miss the beach?
I mean, no.
You mean the freezing cold beach?
Growing up in California, generally,
Northern.
California is a lot different than Southern California when it comes to the beaches. Southern California beaches, Newport, Huntington,
La Jolla,
beautiful.
yeah.
La Jolla, beautiful. I mean,
And that's where we went when
that's
we
where we would go
vacationed.
when we go to the beach.
Yeah.
The water is warmer, and I know people will laugh and, oh, it's so cold in Southern California. Compared to Northern California, it feels like a hot tub.
Go to Santa Cruz.
So if you ever want to test your your intestinal fortitude, go to Santa Cruz and go in the water there. And that's the beach I grew up going to. I mean, my dad used to go there when he was there. You went there.
Yeah.
Back then, you could get to Santa Cruz in 90 minutes from where we lived.
Yeah.
So it was, you want to go to the beach for a day? Sure. We get up, we leave in the morning, go to the beach, body surf, boogie board all day, literally till you're exhausted, drive home. Well, now with the Bay Area traffic, that's a 3-hour drive each direction. And no, we didn't go to the beach.
So we're actually closer to San Diego now in Arizona than we were. So I think it's cool. We're going to wrap up here, but I think it's cool that, we have one son in San Diego, right, in the military. We have another son playing football up in Flagstaff, and so we have the mountains.
Yep.
We have the beach.
Yep.
And we have the desert.
We have the desert.
We have it all covered.
We have it all covered.
And it's awesome.
Even when it's 115 out, it's still awesome. Yes, it is. But I do want to add though that anybody that is considering this and thinking about, can I do it? Yes, you can do it. Just do it. Right? Don't just jump into it and decide to do it the next day and pack everything up the following weekend and go do it. Do your research, do your homework, find the community that works best for you and your family. And that's going to be different for everybody. But do that research. But then when the time comes, do it. Get the moving van or hire the moving company or whatever you're going to do. Take that risk. Take that step forward. It's the only way to achieve greater things. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? You got to risk something in life. And we took a big risk and it paid off, and it paid off in spades. And I love where we are. I love our family. I love the community, our neighbors, all of those great friends, all the football friends. It's been amazing. And I would encourage anybody to do it if they're thinking about it. And that is going to wrap things up for this episode. Thank you for joining us. Next Chapter Strong, from deadlifts to date nights. In future episodes, yes, we will get into deadlifts and date nights. But we're covering everything in between there as well, and just sharing our stories and our adventures, and hope you guys tune in next time. Thanks. Thanks for listening to Next Chapter Strong.
If this hit home, please share it, leave a quick review, and follow us on Instagram at Next Chapter Strong.
And most importantly, keep showing up strong for what matters most in your life.